Hey YouTubians, it's Tony here from WeTransing Channel Likes Driving, so you don't have to. Today's video is a 31-day video with the Casio AE-1200WH, which has a module number of 3299. In this video, what I like to do is talk about what a certain watch has been like over an extended period of time. Now, in some of the reviews that I've done, especially of this watch, I've worn it over a day or two, popped it on my wrist and just give you my impressions. But when you've worn it over the period of a month on a daily basis, whether that's washing the car, going out and about, meetings, going out with your loved one or family and stuff like that, it gives you a better impression of what these watches are like to wear. And also it gives me the excuse to just get it out of my watch box, dust it off and pop it on my wrist. And I really do enjoy doing these videos. I bought it from Argos. I bought it brand new literally this time last year in the Argos sale, and they're doing the same sale on this as well. And it is the metal band or the metal braceleted version, which this originally was. But what I've done, I've took that off and I've popped a resin band on this. So in this video, I'll be talking about what it's like with the resin strap on it as opposed to metal bracelet. So first of all, with all that out of the way, let's talk about the comfort of this watch. With that resin band on this watch, I've got to say, it has been an absolute joy to wear. It's been phenomenal. And even though it's like a slightly wider watch than a lot of the watches I've worn, like the Casio W202F91s, all the smaller watches I do tend to prefer, this one, joy, absolute joy. And I'm popping the sizes to what would be my left or your right on this video. I just had to think there. And I've got to say, what a watch. And on my 6.5-inch wrist, absolutely fantastic. And if you've got like a small wrist or any kind of size of wrist, really, you won't regret popping this on your wrist. It is so comfortable. Now with that resin strap, I found it very easy to wear as well, very easy to get my fit in. It wasn't too loose, it wasn't too tight or anything like that. It was just perfect. And with the size of the watch not being that big, it's zero and hand inhibition. Didn't get in the way of fixing my car, working on my car, I don't know, anything to do with my car, washing it, gardening as well, just to, you know, as we're coming towards autumn and just finishing off the garden and stuff like that, mowing, really didn't get in the way. And just general daily life. I mean, it worked well with hoodies, it just slips over it, or long sleeve tops. It never got in the way. And it's not the deepest watch either, so it's a watch that you'll just get on really well with, and it's just a great watch overall. I love the way this looks. Now I've got the obviously added advantage that this was intended for what would be a metal bracelet, so you've got what is what would be a silver effect paint on resin. Now I think I have seen a variant of this which you can get on Amazon, which has the silver effect paint with the resin strap, so I've linked to that below as well. But in this instance, it was quite nice that I managed to get the contrast between what is the black resin strap and what will be the silver effect paint on resin case. Really does stand out on your wrist. I just love the look of it. I think that digital LCD display has got a real nice layout to it. You've got what would be an analog or a digital version of an analog watch. You've also got the little world map there indicating which part of the world that you are viewing the time in. You've got the time nice and proud there, as well as the date. And also you've got, like, at the top right hand corner mentioning whether you've got the watch on mute, because you can mute the button beeps on this, as well as, say for example, if you've got one of the 5 alarms activated. And it's just a great watch. I've got to be honest with you, I know I've mentioned it a few times this year, but I didn't want to take it off. I really did want to keep it on. It's just been great. The other thing that's been absolutely phenomenal with this watch is the backlit display. Oh my god, it's a double LED amber backlight display. It's just really nice and bright. It really does stand out. Now I'm obviously showing you here just to give you an idea of what it's like in darkness and semi-darkness, and the camera sometimes does make it a little bit more stronger than what you see in real life, but in real life this backlight has been phenomenal. And the beauty of it as well, it's got like an afterglow feature or a delay to the normal person in the street, in terms of you can delay it for 1.5 seconds, so when you press the backlight button it'll keep on for 1.5 seconds or 3 seconds. And I've kept it on the 3 seconds on this because it really does help viewing the time in darkness and semi-darkness. And the other thing to mention, the one negative I would say with the display, it does have an element of ghosting to it, where you've got the watch, if you have it at an extreme angle, it does make the time a little bit difficult to read. But I mean, obviously you've just got to turn your wrist, and yeah, it's great. I mean, it's full on. It's just a nice display to enjoy with this watch when you are looking at the time. Fantastic. And it's got that kind of secret agent thing about it. I don't know, I just really like this watch. And if you are thinking about buying one of these watches, I'll give you a big hint before the end of the video. Yeah, go ahead and buy it. Features, of this watch, 100 meters of water resistance. It's got a 10-year from new battery life. The accuracy in terms of the quartz movement, which is powered by that 10-year battery, is plus and minus 30 seconds. It has an auto calendar. So once you set that calendar up to 2099, it'll take into account leap years and stuff like that. So it's just like one of them fire and forget calendars. And also it's got what I've got here. It's got 12 and 24 hour time formats, so you can change the time formats for like what is known as military time in the USA, but you can also swap it back to 12 hour or 24 hours. Now the functions of this watch has got a lot of functions, and I have used them, funny enough, for cooking and stuff like that. I have actually used them this month. Previous months are over my head, but this month very handy indeed, I've got to say, for cooking and stuff like that. It'll beep when I set it. Brilliant. World timer, you can set it so the main screen or the home time screen, you can just flip between 4 different time zones that you can choose yourself, and I've done a tutorial of that as well in the description box below. Just take you off to that. Very easy to set, and it is great if you are communicating with loved ones, or you are a world traveler. You can just quickly swap between the time zones on the main timekeeping screen on this watch. It also, if you go into the actual mode, you can flip between 31 time zones and 48 cities, of which you can turn on daylight saving time on and off for as well. So it's great in that aspect. You got 5 one-time or daily alarms as well that you can set up and use as and when, which includes an hourly signal that you can set up as well, so it'll beep on the hour every hour. You've got, as I mentioned, the timer countdown, which I found very useful indeed, which will count down from up to 24 hours with this watch. Just brilliant. And also it's got a stopwatch that will count up to 24 hours, including in terms of elapsed time, but it will allow you to do a split time as well as first and second place times. And if you're not sure how to do that, as I've mentioned, it's in the tutorial which I've linked to below. So overall, my impressions of this watch over the 31 days that I've daily driven this watch in the month of October. Now, I've got to say, I think this is a phenomenal watch. I really do think it, and I know I've said it with a fair few watches this year, but I've got to say, it's one of the standout ones, and probably up there in terms of one of my favourites. So it is another great watch from Casio. It was fantastic on the wrist. It looked phenomenal on the wrist as well, because you've got that nice contrast between the silver effect paint as well as the darkness of what would be the resin band. And as I said, you can change that, you can modify it, you can do all sorts with this actual watch in terms of getting a real metal case for it and everything. There's just a lot. You just got to search up AE-1200 mods or stuff like that. Leather straps as well, unbelievable. Lots of functions which I did use, really good, and including that alarm as well. I did use that as well. It did wake me up and managed to go about my day. Lots of information at a glance, and the world map will give you some nice reference as to the time zone you're in, but it's mainly for the time. And I've got to say, the layout of it is it just makes it so easy to read. Ideal if you are a world traveler with all those cities you can choose from, and having the 4 main time screens on the home timekeeping mode, you can just flit in between the 2. Now, the only thing I will say, some people will probably mention this, you can accidentally press that button down the bottom right hand corner, which may activate a different time zone. So for example, you could be looking at the time thinking, my God, the time's already gone, or you know, you may think, well, the time's totally wrong. Now that is probably just because you press that button by moving your wrist accidentally, but it never happened to me in the month of October, I've got to be honest with you, but there is a chance for that happening. Unbelievable watch for the money. That is my kind of final statement on this watch. For the money that it's at the minute, which is £25 I think, but it just goes back up to 30, or you can get them on Amazon, just purely resin, not metal bracelets or anything like that. 100 meters of water resistance, 10-year battery, great backlight, loads of functions. It's a phenomenal watch to own. And I know it's cliche, this channel at the minute, with the 31 days that I do with my watches. I didn't want to take it off my wrist. And if you do get the chance to look at one, or even try one on, or even buy one, you will not in any way, shape or form be disappointed with this watch. So there you go. That's my overall impression of this watch. Go and get it, especially in Argos, brilliant, or Amazon. I've listed the links below, and I've done tutorials on this watch as well. So it's a very easy watch to get on with on a daily basis. So I hope this 31 days with the Casio AE-1200WH has helped you in some way. And if it has, then please click on that like button. It always helps the channel. If you want to see more videos from the We Try Anything channel, then click on the subscription button below, and why not subscribe? It's all free. And I've also, there's a video here just appearing here right now, which I've highlighted, which is a tutorial on this very watch. So it'll take you off to the tutorial if you want to know a little bit more about how to use the Casio AE-1200WH. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.